What you're looking at is the second of two listening sessions focused on the consent decree, more specifically the Louisville Consent Decree, Community Commitment Consent Decree. It was announced maybe a few weeks back at 574 West Jefferson Street in the mayor's office. Here in attendance is about 30 people. I say about because the last count that I did was 28, but 4 people have walked in, so it puts the count at 32, of course. But I'm just saying about because could be more people to walk in. Now, there are 32 people sitting in these 6 different tables, but there's about, I would say, 38 people, 39 people total in the room as it relates to the city staff that are actually organizing and hosting this event. Questions are being asked of the group in front of you about what would you like to see in the independent monitor. What I'm going to do is go around table by table. Maybe I'm not going to do that considering my 5% battery life. So perhaps I should have planned ahead on that one. But nonetheless, here we are. In attendance, you have some of the following. This is Ed Harness. Ed Harness in the city is this Office of Inspector General. Many people are wanting him to continue serving as the Office of Inspector General and hoping that the mayor makes that decision, in this case, Mayor Craig Greenberg, makes that decision to keep him on as Office of Inspector General. I made a slip there. I almost said independent monitor. Let me clear that up and say that independent monitor and Office of Inspector General are 2 completely different entities. They're not the same. Now, Lyndon Pryor, CEO and President of the Louisville Urban League. Gotta love Nancy. Nana, excuse me. Standing next to Ed Harness is Misty Wright. Misty Wright was one of the co-authors of the safety plan that happened in the city that took place. And again, there's about 30 people in this room, 6 different tables, and they're discussing what they'd like to see in the independent monitoring team. Now, if you haven't taken the time to read this community commitment, I encourage you to do so or get with people who have read it and have dissected it and compared it. Just for a moment, I am going to take some microphones to a table to listen in on conversation so you can hear what's being discussed for a few moments. That being before the battery runs out. So let's see what happens. How are you today, Miss?
How are you doing?
Not bad. Not bad. A little tired. It really is.
Got you working all the shifts, right? Are you a spectrum again?
No, I'm just by myself.
Okay. I'm Tracy Frederick.
Hi, Tracy Frederick?
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's see.
Where do you post? Or what do you have it online? Or?
It's usually social media, Facebook and YouTube mostly.
Okay. Is it under your name? Or is it? Okay.
Facebook, Maxwell Mitchell, or it's the live stream.
Do you just cover like government or what's your kind of niche?
Metro Council, government, Metro Council, community meetings, court, one calls, and interviews. And sometimes I like to do a little talking session. I call thoughts or something.
Yeah, I'm new to the mayor's office. So I don't. We're still waiting on parts, so that's how new. Yeah, but I'll be in all the press events and stuff. So yeah. Once I get one, I'll share.
What was your role again?
So I'm the deputy director of communications at courthouse.
Can I get your contact?
Yeah.
I'll give you my phone.
Okay.
Why don't you do that? I forgot something.
Okay. I gotta look my new phone number up.
police behavior,
Yeah.
not just how they interface with the community, but how they actually behave in situations.
Okay.
She's talking about
Can you
violence.
drill down a little bit on that?
I mean, that's what I'm hearing you talk about violence. Um, so to me, that comes back to policies and training. How are they trained to behave? Maybe I don't know. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I think it's deeper. It's more than just this. It's in addition to this, because that's part of how we ended up here with a consent decree to begin with, was the behavior of the police on the streets. So what you're describing is their behavior.
Part of what I heard Connie say, and tell me if I'm wrong here, is that we do have a very diverse community, different people, different backgrounds, different languages, and so police need to recognize that and be able to conduct their policing activities in a way that recognizes that, respects that, and I guess behave in a way so that they can conduct their activities, kind of within that diverse, multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-language environment.
So acknowledge and de-escalate and cooperative de-escalation techniques. I think that there's some nuance there. So
I'm just thinking about it from a language perspective, right? If you come up to somebody and say, stop, or put your hands in the air, and they don't speak English, maybe they're from Southeast Asia or something like that. They may not comply right away. And so the response needs to be appropriate, and they shouldn't rely on the immediate use of force. Right? They need to understand, okay, maybe my communication style isn't working here, maybe I need to try something else.
So if I can, I think, and thinking about it in context of the monitors and the skills that we want them to have, what I'm pulling out of this, I would agree, or how I would frame it is, I think I believe we need a monitor who has great cultural competence
it's a great
themselves,
way of putting it.
and then, but also has a deep understanding of training around cultural competence, so that they can recognize when training is poor, when training needs to change. Because as the monitor, they should have the authority to say, "Hey, this training is inadequate. You all aren't prepared well enough. Do not know what you are not adequately doing this thing or that thing correctly." So you need a monitor who understands training deeply, so that they can then be an authority on what LPD is.
Are you recording us?
No.
Oh, I saw it.
Wait. Hold up. I do think those are recording devices, though.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Oh,
thought about
It's
it.
Max.
okay.
That.
I didn't know which it was. It's okay. I just wanted to know.
Okay, but did he ask permission to do that? And are you all comfortable
I'm
with
fine
that?
with that.
I'm fine.
I have to ask if that's okay. I'm fine with it, but I don't know if
He's live streaming.
Okay. I know. I'm gonna talk to him, and I'll be right back. I apologize.
Sorry.
What are those things on
The microphones
For the media.
were
what media?
He's a live streamer. He's streaming it.
streaming it live.
Sorry. I did not know she was
My
recording.
apologies. She's right. I should have. No,
And
no,
also, I
I agree.
There was a situation in Chicago while I was visiting there.
But if they're okay with them,
I'm gonna ask. I think if y'all are okay with it, it's fine. It's a possibility. That's why I'm gonna ask. And then if you're okay with it, we can do that.
Well, I was actually. I was gonna go to the table.
Just ask
Each area.
or ask. Can you ask me? Okay.
Sorry to bother you. Do you mind if I record your conversation for just a few minutes for the purpose of letting the public know what's being talked about? Yeah. I'll put this in. It'll be for just about 10 minutes.
So you're saying you want the monitor to be able to stand up to?
That's a great way of putting it.
Where does his power come from to say, okay, if you read this, the first step is that they go to him informally and say, try work it out if he says there's something wrong. And then the next step is they go to a mediation. Okay, so where and in, I have to look it up, but in there it says that they voluntarily can take the advice of the monitor to change the policy, but they can contest it. That's the difference between this and the consent decree through the court. The court would say you have to do it.
Right.
Here, and here it's voluntary.
Right.
You want this monitor to give a standard to the government's pushback or the government.
Yeah, to even though it's, I guess, why he said in the language it's voluntary, I wanted them to do their level best to make it mandatory, to make it politically unsuitable for the metro government to ignore what they're saying.
Okay, now this doesn't want recommendations ignored.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Who is this monitor answer to? Do we know?
Their direct supervisor?
Is it
I'm
the
not
mayor? Is
sure.
it police chief? Is it the police? Oh, wait, what is it? Who they report to?
That's what
Who
we're
does
talking
who?
about
The
before.
monitor. Who would the
We can
monitor?
get someone to clarify that for us. Unless they have a question about.
Who will the monitor ultimately report to? Okay.
We can get that answer.
Let me take
The
the
monitor,
monitor.
he gives recommendations to LMPD and they can voluntarily apply or not, and it could go to mediations after they try and resolve things informally.
Okay. I've got one quick question.
Yes.
Who will the monitor report to direct? Who will be their direct report?
Well, so there's different questions. So the Community Safety Commission is the one about the work.
Yes.
Yes, so they will be reporting to them about the work that they're doing. The contract is with Metro government,
So that
it'll be
person
a-
will be reporting to the mayor directly?
no, I mean,
Who will be supervising that person?
so it
do
would
we
be
know?
like a supervisor, like an employee-employer relationship, because it's a contractor. So
Okay.
the work will be overseen by the Community Safety Commission, and then the
Okay.
contract is with Metro government.
So it'll be overseen by the commission.
No,
So that person will be dealing directly with the
the work is
commission.
not overseen by the Community Safety Commission. No, they only receive the report.
Right, and they
Right. They only receive the report after a decision's been made, right?
What do you mean by after a decision is
Well,
made?
they receive reports. I think it's routinely, like every so often they receive reports on the progress or everything.
Yeah, so every
So, but the CSC doesn't tell the independent monitor what their next step is. The independent monitor determines that, correct?
well, all of the so when you're talking about like what their job is going to do, it's laid out in the commitment, and then there's an implementation plan, and the implementation plan has two sides. So it has what Metro is going to be doing. So what policies are we rewriting this year? What trainings are we going to give out? What evaluations are we going to do about our personnel? And then the flip side of that is what the monitor's going to do. And so they're going to say like, all right, you're doing use of force policies. We're going to be evaluating your use of force policies. And it's a collaboration because we'll say this is what our capacity is to do this year, and they'll say, well, we can't evaluate all of that with what our timeline is. So it'll be a collaborative effort on both sides. Like they kind of have to fit together like a puzzle of the work that they're doing to evaluate us has to kind of match with the work that we're doing on reform. But it'll be very detailed about what the next steps are within the 12 months. So that part, it's we have a dispute resolution process if for some reason it breaks down, but it's intended to be a collaborative process.
And so the first step is they meet informally to try and resolve the difference.
Yes.
And then the second step is they go to mediation.
Yes.
Okay. And so neither of those involve the CSC.
I was wondering what measurements of
But
success
if done right, that CSC is going to be very powerful.
No.
Can be.
for determining
You don't think so?
whether or not
Well, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
That is my opinion. But you just said it goes to try and formally resolve the differences.
Yes.
Then it goes to mediation, and then a report is given to the CSC.
yeah, and
That's all we need.
something that
I don't have the time now to flip through and find, but I can find you all the stuff.
something that's effective here, but not so complicated that people
Well,
can't
it sounds
understand.
like to me, you can have a monitor and have
So to measure the progress, success, or failure.
Right. But not only
it's just going to come down to
the
two.
monitor, but
And
whether or not
we're taking a bad
being done
thing.
by
There's
the
no community side.
producing results.
There's no community side.
Your top three, if you could spend the next several minutes with your group going through your list and kind of putting an asterisk or a circle or something around your top three qualities or qualifications so we can discuss in about 5 minutes. Thank you. So I'm not professional for this activity.
No, sorry.
So I'll tell you basically what I'm saying. This is yeah, I was just telling you, it's not anything juicy.
No, it's not about juicy. Just getting information out there. Yeah, there it is, right in front of me. And if you stand next.
Do you guys mind terribly if I just jump on this as well? Needs dynamic sound.
Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to speak to the organizer of this event.
And broad is good, trust me.
Okay. One thing, if I had anything else
Could you please spell and state your name?
Yes, my name is Vanessa McPhail. Vanessa, Vanessa, McPhail, MCP as in Paul, HAIL. Dr. Vanessa McPhail with the Office of Equity. I'm the executive director.
How did it come about that you took the role of organizing this process?
Well, it was an assignment given to me to gather the community because the city wanted to get feedback from the community. And so this is our second listening session. We had one on June 17th at the Republic YMCA, and then this is our second one here at Newburg Community Center. We were intentional about having one in the evening and then one on Saturday as well for those who may be working. And this started at 10, and we're in the midst of it, and it goes until 11:30.
Now, could you tell me a little bit about the desired outcome for these two listening sessions and what's going to happen next with that information gathered?
Okay, so the desired outcome is that the community got an opportunity to share with us the qualities and qualifications that they want to see in an independent monitor. And then that information is shared with the leaders in Metro, and it's used as consideration for the RFP. And then the next step of this is that the RFP will go out. And then the last of this journey is that we will be able to have a meet the finalists sometime in the fall, where the community will have the opportunity to meet the finalists who will later become the independent monitors.
And for those who don't know, when you say RFP, you're referring to a request for proposal.
Yes, I'm sorry for using lingo. That is a request for proposal, meaning it's outward facing and people have to apply for it. And then for those people who are unable to come to the listening session today and couldn't make it on June 17th, we have an online survey, and I encourage everyone to take the online survey. The online survey just takes 1 or 2 minutes, and it is open until June the 30th.
Why do you think an event like this is so important in our community?
I think it's important in our community because it gives people an opportunity to share what they would like to see in the independent monitor, and we want to give people an opportunity to hear from them.
Anything else?
Do you think that the two listening sessions plus the survey will be enough to really galvanize the masses in this population?
I do, and although everybody's not able to make it in person, with 2 opportunities and an online survey, we have provided access. And then if people had trouble, they could go to the library, and we have people at the library that can help them get online. But the opportunity of in-person, 2 opportunities, and an online survey, I do think is ample.
If anybody had any questions or comments or concerns, where could they reach you?
I'm with the Mayor's Office of Equity. I have a website. There is a website for the Office of Equity, and there's a contact me there. And then as well, there is an information page on Metro Government where they can find more information about Louisville's commitment.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I couldn't think of the website. What is that website? I was trying to say Safe Louisville. Yeah, that's where they can find more information about Louisville's consent. That's what I was trying to do. I couldn't think of that website. Okay, that's it.
And, do you have a business card?
I do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Pleasure meeting you.
Okay, we're going to come together for our last segment where we will, as a group, review what each table has put on their chart paper. I've been walking around, Dr. McPhail's been walking around. There are a lot of consistencies within this room, but also with what we saw from the last listening session as well. So what I didn't mention, it's supposed to be in my ending notes, but I think it's important for you to understand that these qualities and qualifications that you all have noted in these 2 listening sessions will inform the request for proposal or the RFP. And so the RFP is what is put out for people who want to apply to be the independent monitor. or the subject matter expert team that will apply to be the independent monitor. So it is important that we hear from the community so that the RFP can be informed by that. So Dr. McPhail will bring up the chart paper, and I will do my best to read and summarize what we see from the groups. All right, this is group number one. So first I'll read their top three, and then I'll summarize the rest. Okay, so number one, no ties to the mayor and Louisville. So what I will ask, because I've seen that a couple of times, and I asked one group, I think it was your group, when I first saw it, if you all would take your Post-it notes and kind of explain that, right? What does that mean? What does that look like? Does that mean you never lived in Louisville, you never worked for the mayor? Like what exactly does that mean? So if you at your table can write what no ties to Louisville or the mayor means, that would be very helpful. We'll collect all that. If you put that with the note takers folder, that would be perfect. All right, no ties to Louisville or the mayor. Number two, is it necessary? So or in the cost effectiveness. So I'm not gonna have we can't have a Q&A or discussion, but is this related to whether we need an independent monitor? Okay, so this isn't equality. This is questioning whether we need the independent monitor. Okay, number three. Is the three by fair, or this one? Okay, engage with police leadership and the FOP. Okay, so the other things that they have on here is they would like them to be fair, and the knowledge of Louisville and LMPD, as well as legal expertise. And I believe the other things that I see on there are kind of questions about the process and who it is and whether or not we should have them. All right, awesome. Thank you, group number one. Number two. Okay. No ties to Metro Government or LMPD is one of their tops. And they added a post-it that says never employed by or contracted by LMPD or Louisville Metro Government or FOP. No association or family ties to either LMPD or Louisville Metro. No obligations to either LMPD or Louisville Metro or FOP. So they explained it a little bit. And then you would like to see them have subpoena power. So if you can write on a post-it contextualize what that means to you and why. Maybe the why, that would be helpful. Provide Metro and LMPD with recommendations to police board and the DA office. They also, consistent with the last group, said that they would like legal knowledge and historical knowledge of Louisville and LMPD. There is a citizen with life experience and open mind and is neutral, and community engagement. That one actually came up a lot at the first listening session, and prior experience with the consent decree. So thank you very much, group number two. This page? Yeah. Okay. This is your top three. Okay. Table three. Their top three are cultural competence, interface comfortably and respectfully, and ability to recognize deficits with LMPD. They would like to see the independent monitor have a broad range of expertise. For instance, ethical policing, training and de-escalation, participatory governance, and community engagement. And they would like to see that they will be independent from LMPD. So if you could, group three, if you could tell us more about the independent from LMPD, that would be great on the post-it. See what else do they have. Experience administering consent decrees, no connection to LMPD, deep knowledge of community issues is one, so that community piece. I think the rest of it is captured. These are just your notes, right? Okay, thank you all. No ties to Louisville. Not a Louisville citizen, not affiliated, not a Louisville lawyer or business owner. They also have some questions that they have on there, but they would like to have someone who's community engaged and involved, and they want them to be transparent and equitable. And so their questions I will leave to Dr. McPhail and her team to collect and inform how they communicate to the community about the process.
Well, there was a third. Wasn't there another one on there? Remark.
Those are,
1, 2, 3.
okay.
Stars.
I can see the stars, but it says questions, so I thought that I didn't know that they were qualities, so thank you for clarifying. Okay, so the question is marked, but it's how will an independent monitor maintain independence and not be subjected? So that's not really a quality, but it's a question for clarification on the process and what they will be doing. The last one says, what's a way to measure the process and success of monitor? And so that again is a kind of informing what they should and how they should be doing. When we're asking for, if we're writing a request for proposals, and as you know, someone who has responded to requests for proposals a lot, then you would want them to be able to explain how they're going to be the thing that you want them to be. Where these questions are great, and they're great information for them to collect, but that is what you want to know about the process and what you expect the process to look like. And that to me is a different conversation than the actual qualities and qualifications of the independent monitor. So thank you all for the input, and all of this can be used to inform the process. But for today, our focus is on the qualities and qualifications so that RFP can be put out. The process is is a tangential piece of it, but for sure we can use this information. So thank you for this. Okay, that's pretty easy. This is table 4. Is that 4? Okay, table 4. All right, top 3 qualities and qualifications. Community engagement. They would like to see the independent monitor have some experience with restorative practice, positive policing, and community interactions. They want the independent monitor to be willing to push for organizational change to improve systems of justice through knowledge of mental health and trauma-informed care. And their third is ethics and legal background, knowledge of citizens' rights, empathy, experience in state, local politics, and legislation. And they said that they would like to see a mix of people from Louisville and outside of Louisville on the subject matter expertise. Did that capture? All right, awesome, thank you. All right, and this is group 5? Right? Okay, awesome. All right, so their top 3, knowledge of Louisville and knowledge of LMPD. There's little arrows that I think this is related, diverse experiences and perspectives. And then they would like prior experience with the consent decree and experience with community engagement, another group that brought that out. And then there's another arrow, experience in listening to the community and following through. So not just listening, but also using that information in what you heard. So they also have another arrow that says meeting people where they are. So thank you for further explaining what you mean by community engagement on here. They also, some of the other things that are not necessarily in the top 3, but I'll share, lived experience with police misconduct or by police misconduct, a local presence, they've been here in the community, and the ability to effectively communicate with the public and not just speak in legalese. And they would like to see that they report to Metro Council and also have subpoena power. Good. All right, is that all of them? Oh, okay. So I will say, I'm not doing any qualitative analysis here, but there are very consistent themes about legal expertise. There's some, debate about the ties and what ties to Louisville and LMPD or Louisville Metro might look like. So I think that's something that the team will have to disentangle as they develop the RFP. Community engagement appears to be very important to folks. So there are a lot of consistent themes that I think that you all will see come out when the RFP comes out. So I want to again thank you all for being here today. All the tables are full. Hold on a second. All of the tables, are full. There was lots of engagement and a lot of care. And so I set up from the University of Louisville. A lot of times people are what we call influence to the city. I don't know. I'm from Louisville. I was born here. This is where I raised my kids, right? I care about the city as well. And that is why I'm spending my Saturday with you in this process as well. So thank you again. There will be more information that comes out. This is a developing process, right? And this is part of the development. So I want to encourage you, since you were here and you gave your input, if you can tell your family or your friends and other community members that there is an online version of the survey that asks the kind of qualities that they want to see. So if they were unable to attend one of these, listening sessions, they can still fill out that survey. So I think it's the 30th. It's open until the 30th. The next time you will see me, I am not part of any data analysis or RFP process. I'm just the facilitator, right? I do believe that I will be part of when there is the end of the process and the community will be invited to meet the finalists, that I'm part of that facilitation of that conversation. So I will see you all whenever that process happens. So I don't know if Vanessa, you have anything else to add to it?
The meet the finalists will be sometime in the fall. As soon as we get more detail, we'll be sure to share this.
Yep. And I think last time, a couple of us will be around for very briefly afterwards. So I know I saw some hands raised. So if you have questions, so we'll take independent questions. No, we're done, but we will take, we're all done with the process, with this listening session, but we're here, and so I know folks stuck around and asked questions to people independently afterwards. So thank you again for being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday and don't get too hot. I don't know if it's supposed to be cooler, but I know we've all been melting here. So, all right, thank you.
Hey, good to see you. Nice to see you as well. How are you today? I'm all right. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna go home got a house full of kids. My son had a sleepover last night, so this was a nice little break.
I hear that.
Would like to invite you to a community update and listening session. In partnership with the Fraser Museum, we are so excited to give you, our community, updates and hear feedback from you as well. Let's talk and bridge the divide. In attendance will be myself, Lorenza Townsend, Chief Administrative Officer for Norton West Louisville Hospital, and Russ Cox, CEO of Norton Healthcare. And now, all we need is you. Join us at the Fraser Museum. The address is 829 West Main Street, beginning at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., July 15th. Come and talk to us. Come see me. Come bridge the divide with us. But if you do nothing else, stay live.
Through every note, every performance, the arts connect us. The arts connect us through joy and through awe, bridging cultures and generations. From intimate theaters to the grandest stages, the arts bring us together, reminding us that we're never truly alone. When we experience the arts, we experience each other. Kentucky Performing Arts. The arts connect us.
If you do nothing else.
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 Stay live.